So now I can see my whole form that I've created so far. I have the title. I don't have a form description, but certainly if you wanted to write a form description there, you could. Like, this is a fake form Amanda made. Now there's my form description. I've got, again, the questions, and if you click on them, you can edit it, remember. So here's the name, here's the multiple choice question, here's the checkbox question. And then at the bottom, if I wanted to add another item, I certainly could, but I'm going to call it good for now. So my form is done. So before I'm ready to share this with the world, a couple of things you'll want to look at. As you can see down here in the bottom, this talks about the confirmation page that the person who is filling out your form will get once they're done filling it out. So their little note to them when their form is all done right now will be, your response has been recorded. If you wanted to change that to something like, thank you for completing this survey, you could have it say that instead when they're done. Show a link to submit other responses. That means that if you wanted them to take it more than once, you could show that link on that confirmation page and they could click on the link and take your survey again. I hardly ever do that, but maybe you would have a need for that. If you want to share the results of this survey with everybody who's taken it, you can do that as well. And then if you want the people who took your form to be able to go back and change answers, you can do that as well. Again, I rarely use any of those, but there are lots of options in that. If we go up to the top, this is another thing you want to check before you kind of finalize your form, and that is these various settings. If you want to keep it contained to people in the Springfield Google domain, so in other words, only the people who have a Springfield Google address can actually view the form, then you want to check this. But I usually don't do that because I want to keep it open, so I go to uncheck it. It says this means that people outside of Springfield schools, so those people without a Google address associated with our school, can view the form. Yep, that's okay with me, so I hit OK. Automatically collect respondent Springfield Schools username. Again, I'm not so concerned that I'm only submitting it to the students in Springfield, so not a big deal to me. And then you could have a progress bar at the bottom of the page so that as people fill out your survey, they know how far they are into it, like how many questions they have left to fill out. But I haven't used that one a lot either. Okay, so now we've basically got the form ready to go. I want to go through some of these top things up here. So you can always click on this View Live Form at the top to see what your form would look like to a person who's taking the form. So we're going to do that real quick. So it opens up a new tab, and now you can see the lovely fish pattern that I chose. Here's the title. Here's that little subheading that I created. Again, the asterisk means it's required. And the person filling out the form would just go through and put in their name, check what color the sky is, what food they've eaten, and then hit submit. So that tells you what it looks like. It also gives you the website where they can access this form. So this big website up at the top will take them to the form. So to get people to the form, this is one way to do it. I'll show you some other ways in a minute. Notice you can also edit the form because you're the creator of the form. You could edit it right here. People who are filling out the form won't be able to edit it. So I'm going to close this tab of the live form. So we're back to the place where you're editing it. If we move to the left, you can see this button here says right now this form is accepting responses. So if I shared this form with people right now, they could start filling it out and I'd start collecting information from them. If I click this, now it'll change to not accepting responses. So if you want to turn your form on and off, you can do that by using this button. I'm going to turn it back on though. And then finally, this button over here allows you to view your responses. So once someone fills out the data in the form, if you click on this View Responses, it's going to take you to a spreadsheet that shows you all the results. So I'm going to do that now so you can kind of see what that looks like. So you hit View Responses. Again, it opens a new tab. I haven't had anybody fill out this form yet, but once I do, it's going to automatically put a timestamp on when they filled it out. In other words, it's going to tell me what day and what time that form was filled out, and it's going to give me the answers to all of their questions. So the name of that individual, what they chose for sky color, and what they chose for the foods that they've eaten today. And as people continue to take the form, the spreadsheet will continue to populate or fill with all of that data that the form is collecting. Okay, I'm going to close this tab. Again, this is where you would get the information on your form, but we don't need that right now. And we're back to this editing form again. That tab is still open. Some of the things at the very top are pretty standard, so you can change things here. So you can join other people to your form so other people can work together on a form. We'll get to send form in a minute. You can rename it, you can make a copy, you can move it to a folder, you can put it into a spreadsheet, you can embed it in a web page, you can print it. That's a new addition actually, that you can print your forms. Redo and undo, that's pretty straightforward. The live form again is just like this button over here, so there's that option again. This is for inserting new questions again, so here's another way you could put in a new question. And this is going to be tallying all of your responses. So you can see your responses, you can view them as a spreadsheet, you can get them as a summary, which will make a nice graph for you, or you can get rid of all of your responses. So that's something you can certainly play around with, is some of those options. But the main thing that you need to do to finish your form today is you are going to share it with someone. So what you want to do is you want to go to Send Form, and this link to share here is one way that you can share the form with people. So you can copy that link and paste it into a website or into an email and share the form that way. Or if you're interested in embedding the form, which means the form shows up on a website that makes it look like the form, it doesn't look like a link, you can also do that. That's a little bit more complicated, but if you have questions about that, you can certainly do that. And then also you can send the form to someone to take it via email. So if I wanted to send the form to someone, I would put in their email here. So Jamie, I'm going to send you a copy of this form, and I'm going to include the form in the email and send it right now. So I'd hit send. You want to share your form that you've created with your respective principal. So either Mr. Moriarty or Mr. Keene. You can type in their Google account, which would just be first name, last name at mail.springfield.mntm.org, and send it. And then they have a copy of your form, and they could fill it out and start to populate that spreadsheet. Okay, so that takes you through most of what you need to use for making forms. So filling out the title, getting your questions in there, making sure you're accepting the responses, and then how to share it.